The holidays are almost upon us, and for many of us, that means a new season of gift giving. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing a whole range of gift suggestions that I know writers will love because I would love to receive pretty much all of them myself, and I've curated this list to help narrow it down and pick out specific things, including some more personal or meaningful types of gifts that you might not necessarily think of. So whether you're shopping for the aspiring writer in your life, or whether you yourself are a writer who is being bugged like my family is bugging me right now for their Christmas list, and you're trying to narrow down some options of things that you would like to suggest or ask for, I think this video will have you covered. I'll be talking through a range of different categories of gifts and giving specific ideas and suggestions, but to make it easier for you, I've actually created a free digital holiday writer's gift shopping guide that includes all of the suggestions that I'll have in this video, plus many others that I didn't have space to fit in because I didn't want to overload you in a video format. So if you'd like to grab that, you can check the link in the description to go pop over to my website and download that for free to make it a little bit easier for you to keep track of possible ideas and do your holiday shopping. I'm Justin Fike, and here in the Story Castle, we dive into deep dives and analysis of popular books and movies to unpack critical writing craft and theory techniques for you to apply to your own writing. And we also talk about aspects of the writing lifestyle and publishing and all those other things. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, then I hope you'll subscribe to the channel and stick around for more videos like this every week. The first category of gifts you might want to consider are what I would call writing merch or swag. Most writers I know, myself included, are part magpie and love to kind of acquire and gather collections of things, especially things that reflect how important writing is to our own identity and who we see ourselves as. Thankfully, these days it's incredibly easy to find cool writing themed products. So things like coffee mugs or wall art, tote bags, especially in a shop like Etsy. If you search for writer or writing themed, you will find tons and tons of awesome listings of really cool personalized products. You can also find stuff like that on Amazon. And I will suggest you could consider kind of taking two approaches to this. One is products that talk about being a writer, you know, a fun quote or a door hanger or a cool tote bag or something that's references being a writer or writing in some way. But also, pretty much every writer I know is also a fan, and they usually have a pretty strong attachment to one or more series or fandoms. So if you know what those are, like, you know, if you know they're a Potterhead or they're really into Dune or Pride and Prejudice, or, you know, pick whatever their things are, getting a quote from one of their favorite book series onto a pillow or a tote bag or a t-shirt or something like that can sometimes be a really meaningful way to kind of tune in and give them something that they'll love because it's related to something they already love. And I think that's the kind of gift that most writers I know would really enjoy. One final component of this sort of writing merch swag category that I think is worth considering are things that would enhance or enliven the writer's like setup or writing space. Something as silly as like fuzzy socks to wear while you're at your desk, or a nice warm blanket, or one of those like wearable Snuggie blanket things, lap warmer type stuff. I really enjoy my electronic coffee warmer thing that I have here on my writing desk. There's a lot of different versions of these. These are super nice because you can kind of set your mug on it and it keeps your coffee warm, or, you know, whatever your drink of choice is while you're writing. Or sometimes pretty like prints that you can find again on Etsy, or it's very easy to get prints made through like a FedEx type thing. If you use a simple program like Canva or whatever, you can actually get a physical print that they could like maybe hang on their wall where they can see it while, you know, inspiration or motivational quotes about writing, things like that. But stuff that would kind of enhance or warm up or improve in various ways the writer's like space or where they typically do their writing can also be a pretty cool way to give a personalized gift that's meaningful and also useful in the long term. The second category to think about are writing tools, which are things that are more specifically about the actual writing process in various ways. An obvious example of this would be notebooks, like really nice notebooks or notebook holders. For Christmas last year, actually I have it right here on my desk. My wife got me this beautiful leather kind of hand stitched, and you can't quite see it, but it's monogrammed with my initials here, and actually has like cool pockets and zips and stuff, and it like it's like binder style so that I can refill it with paper whenever I need. And that was a really meaningful gift, and I use it often. So different kinds of pretty notebooks, but also not just notebooks, but organizers. Remember that a lot of times writers need spaces to do brainstorming or plot work or whatever. So sometimes different kinds of organizers or even planners can be a really cool aid to the writing process if you know that your writer is a little bit more analog inclined and enjoys the feel of paper, premium pens, things like that. But also various tools for translating analog into digital. There are really cool lines of electronic pens or e-pens where as you're hand writing, it also tracks what you're writing and then will transfer that into a digital format, which can be really cool. And that's a cheaper option than maybe the higher end of this category, which would be something like an e-ink tablet, like the Kindle Scribe. I absolutely love my Kindle Scribe. I use it all the time. If you'd like to hear my in-depth opinions, you can check out the detailed Kindle Scribe review, which I will post right there if you want to watch that to get more information about it. It's not the only e-ink tablet available. I think it works extremely well for a writer, but obviously that would be a much pricier type of gift. They usually run several $100s, various e-ink tablets, but if that's the price range of shopping you're looking for, that's a phenomenal gift. But also if you know that the writer you're shopping for, or if you yourself already have an e-ink tablet, then also consider getting like a really nice cover. They make really nice, like you get like a leather-bound cover or different types, or maybe like a more premium pen. There's different accessories or things that can go along with, or like maybe a Bluetooth keyboard. If your e-ink tablet supports a Bluetooth keyboard, some of them do. Things like that, like accessories that go along with and enhance the usability of an e-ink tablet can be a really cool way to find a fun gift that is, again, meaningful, but various types of writing tools that would support or improve the writing process in various ways can be a really cool gift idea. The third gift category to think about are books. Obviously, if you know that there are some books that your writer has their eye on, maybe new series in genres that they enjoy, or if they have some favorite authors, or you can go on fan-based Facebook groups and ask for suggestions of some things that maybe, if you kind of go into a group and say like, hey, I'm trying to buy a gift for my brother who's an author, and these are some of the books that I know he's liked before. Does anybody have any recommendations of other things that are kind of similar to those books that maybe he would enjoy or hasn't tried before? I promise you'll get a ton of great suggestions, and that can be a really fun way to surprise your writer in your life, or you yourself if you're an author. Poke around and consider requesting a book you haven't tried before from an author that you're not familiar with. You could do a little bit of browsing on Amazon within genre categories that you are interested in and potentially find some cool ideas. And typically every year for Christmas, I always include 1 or 2 or 3 titles of books that I've had my eye on, and it's nice. It's a nice way to give people the option of getting a gift that's cheaper, because typically ebooks run in the $4 to $8 range, and even like a paperback you can often get for maybe $10, or a nice hardback for 20 something. So it can be a nice way of either shopping for gift on a little bit of a lower budget that is still fun and exciting and meaningful, because a book represents like hours of phenomenal entertainment and potentially the discovery of a whole new world or author to add to your collection. But in addition to fiction options, don't forget to consider nonfiction options, books about writing or the writing process. I actually have a whole video that I just did recently on my recommendations for top books that I think every author should read, and again, I will link that for you if you want to check that out. And in that video, in the description, you can find a more in-depth digital reader guide with lots and lots of titles that I have read and can recommend. And pretty much anything from that list, or multiple things from that list, would be a great gift for any writer. I know for myself, I always love reading and learning more about writing craft and theory and principles from different perspectives and different voices. And so that can also be a really great category to consider. The fourth category we're going to look at is writing software or subscriptions. There are a lot of great standalone writing programs or various kinds of software that you can buy as like a single purchase, and also a number of subscriptions which you could, start an account for the writer and cover, maybe 3 months or a full year's worth. A lot of those subscriptions have discounted annual subscription options where if you pay for the whole year up front, you get it for cheaper. So those would be things like writing programs like Scrivener or Living Writer or NovelPad. Those would also include various kinds of editing or grammar support programs like Pro Writing Aid, which I use and love, or Grammarly Pro. A lot of them have free options, but then also paid versions that add a ton of features and usability. I love my Pro Writing Aid Pro account because I run my finished draft chapters through it every time just to get a further leg up on polishing and catching typos and different things. I use it constantly. So a subscription to something like that would be a fantastic gift for a writer. There are also some really cool programs for brainstorming and plot and book organization, things like Plotter or Campfire, that are kind of nice to have, but not necessary tools. And so a lot of times the best kinds of gifts are ones that you wouldn't necessarily decide to pay for yourself, but those would be really fun and cool gifts for a writer in your life. And don't forget something like a Canva Pro account, which, while it's more graphically inclined, any writer that is intending or trying to grow into like indie publishing or other kinds of things probably needs a system for developing maybe social media content or different kinds of things for their newsletters or whatever, and I use Canva Pro constantly for all that stuff, so a Canva Pro subscription, if they don't have one already, might be a surprising but really useful and appreciated type of gift. The fifth category would be contributing towards some of the larger costs associated with publishing. The process of self-publishing a book is in many respects very simple, but simple does not always mean easy, especially when it comes to easy on your bank account. One of the main drawbacks of the self-publishing or indie publishing approach is that you, as the author, are responsible for all the upfront costs of getting your book ready to release and sell. Those upfront costs include cover design is a big one. There are a number of really fantastic pre-made cover design websites where you can actually buy kind of a stock pre-designed book cover, and as long as it broadly reflects or aligns with the style of the book, and then you can, like, you know, obviously put the name of the book and your title and different things into the cover, and that's actually a much cheaper or more affordable way to get often a very, very nice book cover, as long as you can find the one you need. And so you might consider giving your writer a certificate to one of those websites where they could sit down and look through and see if they can find something, because often those covers run anywhere from like $75 to maybe $150 or $200. So like within a reasonable range. Getting a custom designed cover often costs quite a bit more than that, and depends entirely on, you know, the running rate of the graphic designer or the cover designer that you're working with. But you could contribute towards that. You know, you could give a check in a card and say, you know, we want you to use this money towards getting a book cover done for your book that you're working on, or something like that. Another common cost associated with publishing is proofreading and editing services. Again, depending on who you're hiring, that can run a very wide range of costs, but sometimes a simple copy edit can still fall within a more reasonable range, or a lot of times editors will offer a much cheaper version of a service that's an initial edit of maybe the first 20 or 50 pages of a manuscript, and that is something that you could buy as sort of a way of giving them, like, hey, we've paid for, you know, a sample edit through this editor that they're going to do this, you know, the first part of your book and give you feedback on your opening, or, you know, give you a thorough edit on your first 50 pages or something like that. And again, that could be a really meaningful gift to consider. But in terms of an overall category, just keep in mind that the self-publishing route can be expensive, or different parts of it can be costly. And so helping to provide support, or, you know, contributing financially towards a portion of those costs can be a really meaningful gift that directly feeds into that author's, you know, dreams and aspirations as they are pursuing this passion of theirs. And the final category that I think is really important to touch on and consider are cost-free gifts. Everything else we've covered so far in this video are things you can buy, but that is not the only type of meaningful gift that you can give to the writer in your life, or that you can ask for as a writer for your friends and family who are asking you what they can get you. You could consider offering time and availability. You know, if the writer has kids, you could babysit the kids for a day to give them a day out at a coffee shop for a writing session. Or, you know, if you're thinking of trying to find a gift for your spouse, you say, hey, I'll take the kids out for the day. Why don't you stay home and get a nice solid day worth of working on your book project? Or you could come over and help with cleaning or other kinds of things around the house to take some pressure off, to make space for writing for them. Another cost-free type of gift that you can give is your interest and your ear. Take your writer out for a meal or for coffee and really truly like open the floor and say, all we're gonna do this whole time we're out is I want to hear about your story. Every writer I know, very much myself included, we live very much in our own heads about this stuff. We think about it constantly, we're always working on it, and most of us, I think, are aware that probably the people in our lives don't really want to hear about every little nuance or character detail or new plot idea that we have for our current project nearly as much as we would perhaps like to talk about it. So giving your writer an open floor to just talk their heart out and, you know, share everything, and then asking questions. Tell me more about that character, or what about this, or why is that like that? I remember my sister actually did this for me when the two of us were recently college graduated, very broke kids running around the world and didn't have a ton of money for gift giving. One year for Christmas, she did exactly this. She said, hey, we're just gonna hang out around the house, we'll cook. The whole point of today, I just wanna hear about your story. Tell me everything. Tell me, you know, start at the beginning. And she asked questions and she dug into it, and it was so meaningful to me. Didn't cost a dime other than, you know, the time and the energy, but wow, it was helpful. You know, it was clarifying, but also it was really meaningful for her to show up and tune into this part of my life and this thing that, especially at that time, was a little bit newer, a little bit more vulnerable. I was less confident about it, and it was a really special gift that she gave me that didn't cost anything, so it's something you could consider as well. And for a final item in this cost-free category, every writer that I know, at least, who has published a book, I can't think of a single one who wouldn't appreciate a really serious and active round of support in, you know, sharing and promoting their book. There's lots of ways that you could do this, but, you know, you could organize, like, if you have a large extended family, quietly, without telling them as a surprise, maybe organize to have everybody buy a print copy of their book, and maybe on a card, you know, after they've read it for a little while, write down like a favorite quote, and give a whole stack of favorite quote cards from their books. I can't think of a single author I know who wouldn't love that. If you're in a book club, go to the book club and say, hey, this person who I know has this amazing book. It would be really awesome if for Christmas this year, can we, for our next book, or if it's my turn to request, this is the book I'm requesting. I would say if this is a category you're thinking of, make sure to find a way to do something very tangible and specific. Don't just tell your writer friend or family member, hey, I'm telling people about your book, that's your gift this year. Make it specific and focused. If you have local bookstores in your area, you on behalf of the writer could go to the bookstore and say, hey, here's this author that I love. A, would you stock their books? And B, would you consider doing a book reading and signing event, you know, sometime over for the holidays? And if you organize that for them and then surprise them with, like, ta-da, you have a book reading and signing at the bookstore in town, that kind of thing could be immensely meaningful type of Christmas gift, which typically would not actually cost any dollars so much as the intentionality, time, and energy that you invest, which very often makes for a more meaningful gift in a lot of ways. But I hope this video has sparked some creative thinking across these different categories, given you some ideas, and maybe helped you select just the right gift for the writer in your life, or again, if you're a writer, helped you zero in on the kinds of things you would like to ask for. If you found it helpful, please drop a like on the video. That would be your gift to me for this holiday season, partly because I would super appreciate it, and also because it helps the algorithm and it helps more people find the videos and find the channel. And please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. What is your favorite writing related gift that you have ever received or given in the past? Tell a story and share, and I would love to read, kind of give some warm holiday fuzzies for the season, what some of those have been for you in the past. But with all of that said, thank you for watching and happy writing.